Joining the show tonight, before you saw him in the Honolulu Blues and the maroon and gold that D2 cuts down in PA, from 0 D1 offers to the Detroit Lions with lots of stops, challenges along the way. He was playing PUBG when he got his first NFL call. Love that story. Getting the long intro he deserves, it's running back Craig Reynolds. What's going on, bro?
Man, I appreciate you guys for having me. I'm excited. Let's have some fun.
Excited to get you on here. KU is the only team to offer you a running back?
Yeah, man, that was actually crazy how that worked. Had didn't really have any Division One interest going to my
Mm-hmm.
senior year, um, and then the PSAC schools came around, and everybody was really talking like DB safety,
Okay.
and I was like, and I really didn't have any like real NFL hopes at that point in my career.
Okay.
So I was talking to my dad. I'm like, I mean, if I want to play Division Two, like I want to play running back. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I like to do. It's what I love. So, and then one other school, I'm not going to name the other school, but there was another kid that was in our conference that they wanted me to compete with if I
Uh-huh.
came to their school. And then if whoever didn't like win the job technically went to defense.
Come
So I
on.
was like, so I'm like, nah, like I'm just going to, and then Kutztown, I felt at home.
Yeah.
My guy Penny Packer, great recruiter, and I ended up signing with those guys.
That's awesome. I've not heard that before. You lose the job, you switch sides. That's insane.
That's what I was pretty much told. So I was like, nah, I'm not.
That's crazy. What weren't the other schools seeing on film, man? You had a lot of good tape, I'm assuming, at running back out of high school?
Yeah, well, my thing was my junior year. I was a late bloomer pretty much.
Sure.
And my junior tape wasn't the greatest. My senior year, I went off. I took it personal my senior year and
Yeah.
definitely changed how I trained. Um, and yeah, man, it was just, I feel you on that. I don't know. I thought it was a solid senior year film, but
Right.
people didn't see it that way. Um, but yeah, just love running back. Everybody in my family played running back. So I was like, if I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to do it, if I'm going to play college football, I want to play running back.
Yeah, and I've heard you talk about that, which is a special thing in itself, man. But what stands out about your time at Kutztown? You overcome a season-ending injury. You set some school records that are still standing, super close to some other ones that are really impressive as well. Your name's going to be up there for a long time. Obviously, accomplished a lot there. What stands out about your time there?
First off, the people I met and my teammates, man, I still have a bond and a brotherhood with a lot of those guys. Still talk. They'll hit me up. The people that you meet along the way, the coaches, I still go back to spring practice. It's awesome that the coaches are still there. There's
Yeah.
so much turnover with college coaches moving everywhere. So it's awesome to be able to go back there and still a relationship with the head coach, Coach Q, O-line coach, the defensive guys. It's just a brotherhood. And they get it out the mud, and that's the mentality I kind of carry. So it's definitely relatable, and those guys understand that too. So it's always good to go back there and talk to those guys, and the relationships you build in college, as many of us know, they last a lifetime. So I'm thankful for that mostly.
Yeah, and you had talked about your running back coach, Marcel, still being on staff there and how he was a
Mhm.
big part of that development process for you. And again, that was the next piece of you make time to go back there, which is really neat. And
Mhm.
I guess cliff note on that, we might need to get you more involved so we don't have another regional hosting championship situation.
Oh man, yeah. I know, I know. Don't even
That
get me
was
started with that,
I
bro.
can't imagine from the alumni perspective, just as someone who covers the sport, man, seeing the outroar from that, rightfully so. That was a tough scene.
I know. But it's all about the bounce back, brother. All
Yeah,
about the bounce back.
yes, sir.
Um, but yeah, like for as far as Marcel Quarterman goes, man, great human being, great father, and a great coach. He kind of switched over to running backs my freshman year.
Okay.
So we kind of grew together. As he was learning the position, he was a safeties defense DB guy,
That's
and
neat.
he pushed me a lot. That complacency. I was a starter, my sophomore year, and
Hmm.
he was really on me about the little things and the details. And he's still on my case to this day, and
I love that.
watching the
I
games
love
and
that.
stuff. So he never lets me chill. And we've trained a couple times separately away from the school after college. So that's my guy, man. I wouldn't be where I'm at without those coaches, and especially Coach Q.
That's neat, man. You get the film breakdown after every game or what?
Man, yeah,
Get the
yeah,
notes app.
the good and the bad.
Uh-huh.
I can't even tell you, but it's cool. But I dish it right back to him. I would dish it right back to him.
Hell yeah,
Like,
you got
K,
to.
they put up a stinker on offense or something. I'm ripping Coach
Yeah.
Q in the text. Because I've come back. We have walkthrough on Saturdays, and everybody's watching. Noon kickoff, Big 12 or whatever.
Yep.
So I'm rushing, opening up the phone, trying to get the Kutztown game on the phone,
Yep.
watching it. And I tune in the middle of the second quarter, and it's 3-0. I'm like, bro, come on, you got to put points on the board, bro. Like y'all should be putting up at least 30 a game. We're sitting here 6-0 in the second quarter, bro. I'm
Mm-hmm.
bored. So I give him a hard time. He gives me a hard time, but it's only for both of
Yeah,
us
man.
just to get better and push each other. It's a part of the relationship.
That could be PSAC ball, man. That's how it is. And we've had
Yeah,
Jordan Davis comes to mind immediately as a guy who we've had on here, was one of our sponsored athletes, and he had talked about, your impact on those guys, being able to train with you a little bit too separately. Any long-term plans getting more involved with the team? I know we've seen Max Crosby in his new role, still in the league with his alma mater.
yeah,
Couple other big-time figures getting involved.
yeah.
What's the long-term like for you and KU?
Oh man, we joke around all the time.
Yeah,
Making jokes. I try to go back and I try to like one year I gave the old team cleats.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Try to bring because being a D2 guy, you don't get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You get a pair of shorts and a t-shirt that you probably have to give back. So I try to go back and give gear, man. Some of the stuff I haven't used, some of my teammates' stuff that they get rid of at the end of the year, just giving back, man. Because I remember what it was like being a college kid. Refund checks.
Hell yeah.
Eating, using meal swipes. Like you don't
Yeah.
have money to. You want to look good on game day, like you know what I mean. So just try to give back however I can, man, whether it's knowledge, helping with gear, showing up at practices, man, just showing I'm still tuned into those guys and I care, I want those guys to be successful and whoever was chasing that dream to make the jump and I want them to win games as well. So
Yeah. And it's one thing to write a check. It's another thing to be on the sideline, right? Showing up in the spring when
yeah.
you have the opportunity to do that. And like you said, the fact that you're watching the game, like you've got so many other things going on during the fall and during your season. The fact you go out of your way to just to watch, I mean, that probably
Hmm.
means the world to those guys. And yeah, the day a refund check hits, that's a good day. The day you get a
I
meal
know.
swipe, that's a great day. From one of the
Yeah.
underclassmen too, you get off campus, all of a
Yeah.
sudden I don't know what I'm doing for dinner tonight. Let me hit up a couple of the freshmen, get in there and do whatever. And yeah, man, it's different. It's absolutely different. Just had a couple guys on last week, and going from he was at Virginia Union, now he's moving up to West Virginia, and I'm talking to him like, "What's the biggest difference?" He's like, "Man, I don't have to worry about what I'm eating for dinner tonight. Like, just
Right.
stay in the facility, right?" And
Yeah.
as a guy at this level, there's so many other extraneous things off the field that you got to worry about and take part of. So it's it's a different deal, but I'm sure when you get to that level, it just makes it all the more special.
Nah, for sure. I'm thankful. I mean, shoot, I remember when I first got into Washington and going to Division 2 to that kind of facility in the
Mm-hmm.
NFL was just crazy to me. The tub situation, like we had like one little makeshift tub that you could get in to warm up. They got a whole pool layout, water treadmill. Like, oh, I'm like, I have never seen this stuff before. But some of these guys that went to these bigger schools, they've had that, since they walked on campus. So just being, grateful for the opportunity I'm in, coming from the small schools.
And everyone's got their own path, right? Everyone's journey is unique in some ways. Yours more than others. Talked about no college
Mm,
looks earlier on. You started talking about the Redskins and that opportunity, the first of many for you, but they didn't stick early on, right? Cut by 7
mm,
different teams, man. There's not a lot of guys that can bounce back from that, and you've shown you've been able to do that time and time again. You get this chance in Detroit, right? And what do you remember from that original camp? Go back to 2021. What do you remember
mm.
about that camp? What made it different in your eyes?
Um, I mean, first off, it's all God, man, because the way everything just went, I can take it all the way to when I got the phone call that they wanted me to work out,
Mhm.
um, to get signed. I missed my flight because I was training at the time at Kutztown. So I had to drive to my house, get my stuff. My agent told me not to pack a bag. I packed one anyway because I said I wasn't coming back. And it made me late for the flight. So I missed the flight. They put me on a layover somewhere else. They ended up having the workout regardless without me. They signed the other kid, but they still worked me out. I ended up still getting signed as well. And then 2 days later, I go through a walkthrough with the team, and then there's a game the next day, and you know I fell back to my training. Me and Coach Heck were pretty much training, and not pretty much. I was full pads in my training
Okay.
back in Pennsylvania, so I felt like I was already in training camp while everybody else was as well. So that's what I think really helped me. And then, man, just being in Detroit, man, you have to earn everything, and they give you opportunities too. So I was able to just scratch and claw that camp. There was ups and downs for sure. I mean, I'll tell you the story. I had the preseason game. I did well,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking like, oh, like all right, like it is what it is. I can ball, and I'm confident. And we do this tackling drill, one-on-one tackling drill. And to this day, everybody talks that Dan said, no dropping the shoulder, like you got to make a
Uh-huh.
move in this tackling drill.
Uh-huh.
But I'm like, I swear I didn't hear him. But I'm like, when I get up to the line, I see this dude across from me. It's Reeves Maben, who's like been in the league for like shoot as long as I have. A stud, was an All Pro teams guy, Pro Bowler, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna run this dude over. I tried to run this dude over, and he scooped me and put me on my head. Oh my gosh. You want to talk about coming back to earth? I was like, damn, bro. And this is like 2 days after, you get your little day
Yep.
off after the game, and then you're right back in a training camp. And I'm like, oh yeah, like I gotta make some noise again. And I
Yep.
tried to run this dude over. He scooped me, ball came out, bad look. Bad look,
Knew
yeah.
exactly
So
what you were
yeah,
thinking before you even did it too.
yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as they said Reynolds, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna try to run this dude over,"
Yeah, yeah.
and it backfired for sure. So,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, that camp was fun, man. The ups and downs, but it's a part of the business, man. It's gonna happen, but you try to limit those times that it happens to you as much as possible.
Yeah. The greats are the ones that take those and it don't happen again, right? That's
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
that's what it
Hell
is. It's
no.
gonna happen to
Hell
everyone
no.
regardless. That's good.
Learn
And
from
that's
your
that's the
mistakes.
first year under Dan Campbell. First impression of MCDC, as he's I guess semi affectionately known as now.
He's massive. He's tall, bro. And I feel like he could still play. I'm not even gonna
Hell yeah.
lie. Like, yeah, he's a big dude. And he loves the game, man. And you can feel his hunger when you're in the meeting rooms. And the trickle down effect from a leader to the positional coaches, the coordinators. It's
Hmm.
just a great all around feeling there that you just want to be a part of. Um,
Yeah.
and that's one thing I learned being in other places and then coming here, man. It's just it's something you definitely want to be a part of. It's exciting. It's intense, and just everybody in that building loves football, and they're there because they enjoy what they do, and they appreciate it, and they know what it takes to be at that level. Because we have a bunch of NFL coaches
Yeah.
as our former players that are our coaches
I
now.
got you.
So they know what it's like, man, and it's just great to be a part of, and I'm so blessed.
And you got to be a part of something new coming in, right? It wasn't this, a franchise where you come in and they have this track record. They know exactly what to expect each and every day. He came in and shook things up. And you from the outside looking in, biting kneecaps, drinking enough caffeine to probably kill several individuals. He's going through the
Mm-hmm.
warm-ups with you guys. Some people absolutely right away, again, from an outside perspective, bought in, absolutely loved it. Others, very hesitant to jump on
Mm-hmm.
the Dan Campbell train early on because of some of these things that he is going in and day out. Eventually, I'm sure you guys have come to understand that's who he is. But originally, did it take
100%.
time for guys to gravitate towards that, or was that a really instantaneous type of feeling?
Instantaneous for me.
That's
Like
awesome.
I was like, this dude's authentic. He's real, and he commands the room, and it earns everybody's respect. Shoot, like I said, former player, so he knows what it takes. He knows ball. He's very smart. Um, so yeah, that first year was awesome. That training camp, meeting him, and then there's a whole bunch of other coaches, like I said, that are part of it, and that the relationships that you build with some of these coaches and the players, man, they all want the same thing, and gritty, tough. We're not created for comfort. We want to get after people for 4 quarters. So
Yeah.
it's definitely something I knew I could get behind immediately when I got there.
And you started, on the practice squad there with Detroit. Before you got your shot
Mhm.
late in the year versus Denver, was there ever a real feeling or sense of job security given your background in those other stops?
I mean, no, I really try to just go out there and just compete. I know the starters weren't big fans of me on defense because I was really trying to like OD. I was out there treating it like
Yeah.
it was game day. I'm not gonna lie.
Uh-huh.
Um, but just never know. You never know when it's gonna happen. It happened in Washington. I got called up, but I didn't play any offense, just special teams and just staying ready. So you don't got to get ready, man. That was the biggest thing for me. And it definitely paid off because it happens, really out of nowhere with the whole COVID situation. People just
Yep.
popped up with COVID in the middle of the week. So it was a blessing how it worked out, getting the opportunity like that. I just wanted to make the most of it. Being it going from, playing running back at Kutztown where, I can see the street on that side of the end zone and the street on that side of the end zone. Then you go playing, Mile High in Denver
Yep.
in a packed house, So I just try to take it all in, man. It was definitely a blessing.
That is good. Better experience than that first couple special team snaps you had talked about.
Oh man, yeah, 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 yeah. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. And that's one of my bigger regrets is from my football career is not running track all the way throughout high school
Okay.
and not taking special teams as serious as I should have when I was in college because I was
Yeah.
playing running back so much.
Sure.
I'm gonna be keeping 100 with the audience. Like I really, I wasn't really doing special teams, but besides returning.
Yeah,
Um,
that was a big part of your game. The all-purpose yards were legit.
yeah.
They check out.
So when I got out there, I'm on kickoff and the bullets are flying. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Punt, I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So just once I learned and dug into the game and learned about special teams, and I've had great special teams coaches as well that have invested time into me, and just making a role out of that throughout my career as well. Just trying to make the most of it. Because like I said, at Kutztown, it wasn't really like that. And then, go to Washington, get out in the field, and I'm like, it's a deer in the headlights running
Yeah,
around,
man.
not knowing what's going on. So, yeah.
And for guys in your shoes, like this isn't the case of, hey, you lose the job, you're going to play defense. No, lose the job, you're out of a job, right? That's it.
Yeah,
So, and for I
100%.
guess for a fence guy in that way, we talk about a lot of guys, D2, D3, NAIA that are making that jump. Man, if you can't get in on special teams, there's a good chance you're not even going to see the field a lot in these, even in the preseason games, if you're, blessed to make it that far. But running back,
Hmm.
on the other hand, that's a position that gets better with reps, I think is the best way
Hmm.
to talk about it. As someone who's played it, and you've obviously done much more so and at a higher level, but I think it's the same across all levels. You get the first hit out of the way, you get through a whole series, and all of a sudden, as a back, you start to really get that momentum going. It felt like for you, that was the chance you got that next week against the Cardinals, right? I think you see that come into play. Is the first time, is it the first time you felt like you got a quote unquote real chance to go through and be the feature back for multiple series and kind of be the bell cow in a sense?
Yeah, for sure. When we came out in the Broncos week, practice was a little weird because, like I said, the COVID
Yeah.
stuff kind of happened like Wednesday or Thursday. So we were kind of in like a little split rotation. And then the following week, yeah, pretty much, I was able to get my first like real start.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, no, you're not wrong, man. And, I feel like every running back, doesn't matter the level, says the same thing. Like, I got to get into a flow. I got to get the first hit out of the
Absolutely.
way. And, once that game started, you know how it is. You get hit, and then there is no crowd. There's, it's just you people in the box playing football. You're really not hearing the coaches yelling and stuff. Like you're just so locked in, and that's just kind of got into a zone, man. And so blessed, like I said, to have that opportunity. To shoot, I probably touched the ball what like 20 times or something like that.
26,
Like you,
man. 26 carries
yeah,
that day.
yeah. Like you don't
That's a lot
get
of
that, bro.
touches.
It is. It is. It is. And I definitely felt it. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I
That
believe that. I believe that.
yeah, that was a crazy trying to recover
Yep.
for that next game. It was after what you get like the 2 days off. It was brutal. I was definitely in the tubs for sure. But yeah, like, grateful for it, man. And like you said, yeah, you definitely got to get into a zone as a back, no matter the level that you play at. It's
Mhm.
different when you're able to do that.
Yeah, and confidence and trust comes with that. And you're in a room, too, that's got a lot of talent. And running back's a unique position because you do, I guess, in a way, ride the hot hand, right? Whether it's you, whether it's Ja, whether it's Monty, these guys who go off and have their own big-time individual performances. if he's got it right now, chances are, unless he can't go, he's staying in there. Like, you're giving him the rock
Hmm.
again. So that's where running back is a very unique position. And so for you to be a part of this very talented group and what's got to be one of the, if not the best offensive backfield in the league right now, what excites you about sticking with those guys and being around that level of talent, which I'm going to go ahead and assume helps you raise your own bar?
We compete every day, man. That's the best part. Being in that room, bro, it's competitive, but like we're real tight, man. Like it's a tight knit group.
Mm-hmm.
We hang out together. We do stuff outside the building together. Um, and just being a part of it, like I said, it's a brotherhood. And then, I feel like the football definitely comes, after that. Like we're definitely friends, Uh, and then from the football aspect, man, just we compete, we coach each other up, we make each other better. We know each other's weaknesses. We try to work on those things. And it's fun, man. We
Yeah.
have fun doing it.
You can
Demo
tell
always
too,
talks.
by the way. You can tell.
Yeah,
Like, you guys, like, those relationships are real. This isn't something that you put on for the camera or whatever. You can tell, at least from what I can see, of course, what everyone can
yeah,
see on the, whether it's socials or whatever else. Like, those are real bonds and relationships you guys got going on.
for sure. Some of the funniest, like Jameer and David, some of the
Yeah.
funniest people I've ever met, man. So just being able to go out there and go to war with them, day in, day out on Sundays, wherever we line up, man, it's definitely a blessing. And then just being able to, you know, come back after those games, hang out, do whatever, hop on the game, sit down at lunch,
Yeah, man.
politic, talk, whatever. It's a blessing, man.
I love it. Hey, well, I've enjoyed watching you on Sundays. I'm going to enjoy it even more now, having talked to you, brother, but I really appreciate you taking some time. All I got for you tonight, my man.
I appreciate you. I'm gonna say one thing, right? You
Yeah,
can cut, but this is my PSA to all my guys out there trying to make it. Okay,
let's hear it.
the younger you are, obviously, now hearing this message, but I feel like a lot of guys, when they try to come out, they wait until, you know, their senior year to start to lock in.
Hmm.
I feel like we're already behind the eight ball as small school guys. We don't get the notoriety, we don't get the looks, we don't get the same tape. So you're already behind the eight ball. You got to put in the time, the work, and the effort early on in your career. I feel like for me personally, the first thing I did, I Googled NFL players my height. I can't get any taller. God made me how I'm there. So boom, once I saw that, okay, 5'9", 5'10" running backs are in this NFL. After that, it's up to me now. God gave me the height. I got to put in the work. So fight tirelessly, man. Do whatever you got to do. Early mornings, late nights. Be your biggest critic. And also, man, think of it from a GM standpoint. Like,
Yeah.
why does a GM want me to be on their 53-man roster? There's only
Yeah.
53 spots, and the battles are tight. So why and what is going to separate myself, whether it's, special teams, doing the stuff that other guys don't want to do. Um, and look at your own tape, man, and be your biggest critic. Let your
Absolutely.
coaches let you know what you need to work on, man, because I get a lot of people that ask me, like, oh, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. And, sometimes it's either a little too late or they don't know that, okay, your film is pretty much you running all deep routes,
Hmm.
post patterns, but then you come out and run a 4.6 at your pro day, but your film doesn't show you running the route tree. Like
Yep.
what? There's not 4.6 deep threats in the NFL unless you're super tall and you can go up there and attack the ball. 6'5" guys. So you got to think of it with the mindset of like, why does a GM want me on their team?
I
And
like
then
that a
you
lot.
work from there.